Never in my wildest dreams did I envision my life going this way. Had you asked me 2 days ago, I would have said that my marriage was perfect, or as close to perfect as any marriage can get. My name is Sarah, I'm 30 years old, and my husband Jake and I have been married 5 years. We met when we were both 19, and we've had our own lives over the past 11 years. Jake always made me feel like the lucky lady in the world. We made jokes, we dreamed the same dreams, and we had forged something solid. Everyone always said that we were so good for each other. We would hear our friends say, "You two are couple goals," or "You're a sign that I believe in soulmates." I had bought it to the point of denial. Not that we didn't have flaws. Sometimes the fire went out and the work sagged at us. We fought over the small stuff. Who blew the cap off the toothpaste, who forgot to bring food. But it was so routine. Nothing ever prepared me for what was coming. It was a normal Tuesday and my life ended. I was browsing Pinterest on Jake's phone looking for recipes for dinner when I got a notification. The recipient was Internet Provider. At first I thought it was about our bill, perhaps a reminder payment or service notice. But what I liked was that the message came with a video. Curious, I opened it. The video broke my heart. That's where you saw it, a little girl, probably less than a year old, looking up at the camera and exclaiming, "Dada." It was a simple, cute, rich word. I could hear a woman in the background clapping and laughing and saying, "She said it. She said Dada." There was joy in her voice. It was a proud act, and apparently one that didn't have anything to do with me. I lay still, unable to think. I thought, there must be a reason, perhaps a video from a friend or colleague of theirs. But deep down I knew better. I could feel my stomach churning as I began opening up the messages. And the more I read, the more my world came apart. The letters were informal, private, and all too familiar. From picking up a girl named Kelly to daycare plans for a girl called Dina, they talked about it all. There were the dates, the family reunions, even the regular stuff such as shopping for groceries. It was a fully formed life, a second life Jake had somehow kept from me for years. I initially tried to think to myself that maybe he was just taking care of a friend or colleague. And as I scrolled on, the truth would have no denying. This was not some naive plan. It was a marriage with sexual bonding and family obligations. I couldn't resist plowing on. My hands were shaking and I looked up the woman on Facebook. She wasn't long on the lookout. Her name was Laura. She had 2 girls in her profile picture, both of whom were smiling at the camera. They looked happy, like a family. I clicked through her photos, one after the other, like a knife to my heart. We saw birthdays, parks, and even candid shots of Jake with one of the girls on his shoulders. How had I missed this? How had he hidden a whole family from me? Her articles gave the impression of a normal, working mom. She showed me pictures of her children's drawings, told me stories about their daily lives, showed me photographs of meals she'd prepared. Nothing ostentatious or invidious about her. She looked like a regular woman with a normal life. And yet her life was wrapped up with mine in the worst possible entanglement. I looked at her profile for hours and sat there, trying to figure it out. And then I knew for the first time that I just had to hear the truth. I sent her a message. I introduced myself, told her I was Jake's wife and she could tell me. Shook my hands when I hit send. I did not know what to expect. When she said yes, my heart went out. Her voice was muddled initially. She didn't know who I was. Jake had told her he was single, that he lived in another city for work, and that he commuted in the weekends to be with her and the kids, she said. The reality came unto us in bits, each more devastating than the last. Jake's daughters were the 2 girls. The one older, Kelly, was 4. The baby girl, Dina, was 11 months old. I asked her how long she and Jake had been together, hoping against hope this was a new thing. But her response blasted me. A decade. They'd been dating almost our whole relationship. Laura told me about their days together. Jake's weekends with them, the family trips, bedtime stories. She showed me pictures and videos. There was no denying it. Jake had been a double for 10 years. Everything started to click. Jake's trips out of town, his late-night excuses, how he never seemed free when I double-shifted on weekends. It all made sense now. He had constructed his rumors so carefully, so perfectly, that I'd never considered asking him questions. I kept playing back our history in my head, checking for resemblances. Why did I never wonder why he got so many texts from someone saved under internet provider? Why didn't I doubt his frequent absences? Felt like a fool. Why had I been so blind? Finding out Jake had been telling this lie for a decade was not good, but even worse was what we'd been preparing to do together. Jake and I had been trying for a child for the last 4 months. I wanted so badly to start a family with him, to make something beautiful together. But now, then I was just glad I wasn't pregnant. I could not even imagine letting a child into this mess. Felt so betrayed. Jake had not only told me what to believe, he'd taken my life that I thought he was creating for me. Kept asking myself why. Why would he do this? Why would he bother me with my time, my affections, my confidence? What was the use of it all? That night I couldn't sleep. I looked at that little girl saying Dada or Laura's text messages. Every time I shut my eyes, my brain was going with questions I didn't know the answers to. How did he sustain this trick so long? Did he ever feel guilty? Did he even love me? The next day I muddled. This I knew I couldn't ignore. I had to meet Jake, but standing in front of him terrified me. What's even the start of that conversation? How do you look someone in the eye and tell them why they went and stole everything from you? I drew out what I would say, but it didn't feel like the right words to express how deep I was suffering. Jake had not only dumped me, he'd created a whole life on my dime. A life that had 2 kids and a woman who thought he was hers. At the moment I have this illusion that everything is true. Everything I thought I knew about Jake, about us, was an illusion made up of great care. What I'm not going to do about it. I cannot trust anybody again. And yet here's the thing. I cannot keep quiet. Jake has to live up to his mistake. He has lost 2 lives, mine and Laura's, and I'm not going to let him get away with it. It is a journey that seems impossible, but I know I have to start somewhere. I need to do it myself, whether it's coming face to face with Jake, calling a lawyer, or just getting well. I deserve better than this. And one day, somewhere, I will make my way back.